This video is for a general audience. It can be enjoyed by both adults and children.
Cows.
Now, a story which is quite enjoyable. This story shows us what livestock can do to railway engines. And it's good to see Henry and Gordon getting their comeuppance after teasing Edward and being arrogant when it comes to the subject of cows. It's a good message to kids about not beating down on someone's experience and not to act like such a know-it-all. I like how Edward teases Gordon at the end also, and Henry too. And how Gordon and Henry get stuck on the bridge. I like that too. When I was a child and I read this, I used to think that Gordon and Henry were straight up going to ram the poor thing. And obviously they were not going to do that, but a child's brain, what do you expect? Anyways, a quite sweet story. And I'll happily give this a solid 7 out of 10. Pretty good. Next story up.
Bertie's Chase.
Now, a story which I think was quite good. I like how Bertie is chasing after Edward, and I like the action that is included in the story. And I like also how tantalizingly it gets close to catching up with Edward, but still Edward puffs away. And this also introduces Edward and Bertie meeting each other for the first time, from what I know. A 7.5 out of 10. Next story up.
Saved from scrap.
Now, another story that I quite like. We get introduced to Trevor, who we see is facing an uncertain future, and how Awdry was there to stand by and help as moral support. And I like Trevor's character here. And I always like how Edward's persona is here, of being old but wise, and how he helps Trevor out. I like also the message about how old things can still be useful, and a message about saving things for their usefulness. I like Edward helping out Trevor, and I generally love this episode. And this is one of the episodes about saving scraps or saving vehicles from their demise. And Edward's character fits here perfectly. A solid 8.5 out of 10. I quite like the story. Next story up.
Hold on.
I've just now noticed that most of Edward's stories here have Edward as the secondary character, which I don't mind as he fits here perfectly. And in this story, we pretty much see one of Edward's proof hits word stories. The story is more focused towards James and his rudeness towards Edward, and he learns his lesson about belittling Edward. I'll say that I liked how Edward was flourished with his persona here. I like how he just laughs off the top from the likes of James and Gordon, and that he has a bit of humor as well too. I like how this story also features a little action sequence of him saving James. I love this episode a lot, and this shows that Edward is not some old clanking iron. He is still a really useful engine. Well, nothing at all to say. I really love this episode, and I think I'll give this one a solid 9 out of 10. So, that was my review for the Railway Series book, Edward the Blue Engine. I quite liked it a lot, as Edward is my most favorite character. And I think that's all for today. And I'll be back with the next Railway Series book review. Thank you for watching.